In March, I had a concert in Salgavo with Edin Karamazov, and the day after the first lockdown started. So there were no concerts, everything was cancelled. And it's clear that as a freelance musician, as so many freelance musicians, I depend on singing concerts to earn money. So there was no income. And the question is, what can you do as a musician if there are no concerts? And like many other musicians, I thought about live streaming. I believe that a live stream can never replace a concert, and I think everybody will agree. At least everybody who has ever been in a concert and experienced music in a collective, be it a pop rock concert, a classic music concert. Probably a similar thing would be watching a comedy home alone or in a packed cinema, in a packed movie theater. That is a completely different experience. We want to share our excitement about what's happening on stage. We want to talk about it afterwards. We want to talk about it in the intermission. That's all so much part of a concert, is this experiencing music together. So the next question was, if I don't want to stream or pre-record a concert in an empty concert hall and then stream it on the internet, what other format, what other kind of presentation would work in the context of this lockdown? And I came up with the idea of inviting my spectators to my hometown, to the place where I come from. This is where I have my roots, where our studio is, the production facilities are here, and this is pretty much where I get my energy from if I do concerts. So I invite you to join me and visit a good friend, Wilhelm Weil, who is one of Germany's or the world's top wine producers. I thought it might be interesting to have a visit to the St. Valentinus Basilica, this fantastic church that we have here in Kietrich, and tell you about the specialty of Gregorian chant that is being sung here and show it and sing it for you. And in between, I present some music that Tamar and I play for you. We have two segments. We have lute songs and we have parts from our Twilight People album. The difficulties of producing your own internet arts and music show turned out to be greater than I anticipated in the beginning. The biggest challenge, I think, is to be in front of the camera, behind the camera, in front of the microphone, behind the microphone, to be in charge of everything without any help. It's only 2 days during the entire production that I had help. It's the 2 days when we went out and about to visit Wilhelm Weil from the Robert Weil estate, and when we filmed our opening sequence in the vineyard and in the church in Kietrich. There I had assistance from Thomas Vollherbst, a fantastic cameraman whom I met through an art production that I did, and Holger Jung, who's an old friend from school, and he happens to be a film sound technician. So they assisted me for 2 days where I needed to be in front of the camera and talk, and that made things much easier. But this very moment, I'm sitting alone in a room, I'm asking myself questions and I'm answering them. It's a slightly abstract situation that makes the whole process of production very difficult. Generally, it's a low or no budget production. There's, apart from the equipment, I did the sound recording, most of the camera work. I did the editing, the audio editing, video editing, color grading, color matching, everything that is important. So there's so many choices. For example, this very scene now. What you see is already slightly altered to make it look more interesting. The pure image would look like this. And then you can think, maybe I should make it look more like that. Maybe that look is too warm and maybe we need something cooler. Well, maybe the snow is a bit exaggerated, so let's go back to something more natural. And for every scene, for everything that I shot, I had these choices. And it took me a long while to figure out what I really wanted. Working on Room Service, the arts and music show, I wanted to produce the best possible quality with the no budget situation that I have here. And as you might see, we cannot compete, or I cannot compete in this show with a 50, 100,000 euro TV production, with a crew, with makeup artists, light designers, cameramen, sound technicians, producers, assistant cameraman, and so on. All these things I simply don't have. So I hope you can forgive me the little technical problems that you might see during the show. For a brief moment, I realized that one of the cameras was on auto exposure, and that means that during one of the music clips, you will see the exposure change. The image becomes a bit brighter or darker for a brief moment. Likewise, for our opening sequence where we walk in the vineyards and Tamar introduces our program, she talks about Bach, Handel and Vivaldi. And since we recorded the music segments later, we decided against Bach, Vivaldi and Handel, which we might feature in another show. But it was too late to go back to the vineyards. Our cameraman that assisted that day, Thomas Vollhabst and Holger Jung, the sound technician, were not available anymore, and the vineyards looked completely different. By the time we recorded the music segment, it was autumn, and we simply couldn't go back and patch this little moment. So I hope you can forgive us. There are many discussions going on these days about should musicians offer live streams and music for free on the internet. Well, the problem didn't happen with Corona. The end of the CD happened with the beginning of the internet, when everything was available. I mean, you can find virtually all classic music recordings for free on YouTube, Spotify. There's no investment necessary to find whatever you want to listen to. And that is not a problem that we encountered since the Corona crisis. This is something that happened much earlier. So this time I decided to not release my production, this video production, for free, but to charge for it, as I or a promoter would charge for a concert that I sing. Access to a concert is not free. You need to buy a concert ticket for 20, 25, 30 or even more euros to hear musicians play and sing in a concert. And I hope the very moderate contribution that you will have to pay to watch this video is fine with you.